So it took a while for the housekeeper of the clinic to explain to my mom that she had missed the clinic opening. The housekeeper ended up calling for the cook, who happened to be a tribal woman. Even still, she was from a different tribe, and the translation was a bit rough. My mom turned around and slowly made the journey home. The next day, my mom went back down the mountain. This day there were even more soldiers than before. She got there just as they were closing the clinic gates. They would not see her today. She must come back again tomorrow. My mom's heart was extremely heavy. Her body was drained from making the long trip twice. She decided that staying put was better than risking discovery along the route home and back. She hid behind the clinic where the trash cans were. She slept there all night, with only her clothes to keep her warm. She woke up to the sounds of the cook getting things ready for breakfast. She went to the front of the clinic and sat by the gate and waited until it was time. When they finally let her in, they had to get the cook to translate. My mom refused to let go of me and ended up holding me while the doctor examined me. The doctor had to take blood samples because she could not see that there was anything physically wrong with me. I did not cry when the needle went in. I just turned and looked at the doctor, as if to say, "What are you doing?" The cook gave my mom some food and told my mom to come back tomorrow so that I could get a dose of vitamins. They would not have the test results back for a while. So my mom made that trek faithfully every day so that I could get a dose of vitamins. My health did not improve, and I was steadily taking a turn for the worse. I barely opened my eyes, and I was sleeping a lot. It was thought that I was either exposed to tuberculosis, polio, or both. So they started treatment for both, which only made me weaker and sicker. The doctor told my mother that I had to be left there at the clinic. My mom said no. It was finally agreed that I could stay in a crib in the clinic as long as my mom was able to stay in the same room. They put a pallet right next to my crib for her. The first few weeks, I didn't stay in that crib. My mom held me next to her or laid me on her chest. Then one day, the doctors told my mom that she was making me sick, and if she wanted me to be well, that I had to be left alone in the crib. She put me in the crib, tucked the blankets all around, and never took her eyes off me. I did not move. The doctors prayed their Christian prayers for me. They felt that my heartbeat was getting slower and fainter. My color was leaving, they said. They told my mother that I would be leaving any time now. I barely took in any broth or liquids. I was no longer responding to outside stimuli. Thinking that this was the day, I finally let my mom hold me. She took me outside of the clinic and sat down by a tree. She sang to me and held me so tightly. The cook brought out some liquids and made a medicine dropper. Between my mom and the cook, they brewed some tribal medicines and were giving those to me when no one was watching. When I gained back my birth weight, my mom wanted to take me home. The doctors told her that she had to come back every day and that I had to continue to get my medicine or else I would relapse and die. She brought me back every day. When I was a year old, the doctors told my mother that I was becoming a burden on her and that she should put me in the hospital orphanage where they could take better care of me. My mom agreed. Still, every day she came to see me. No one bothered my mom along the route, and she eventually only hid if she felt a bad sense of the group of people headed in her direction. By now, there was a surge among the American people to help those less fortunate. One of these ways was through missionary work. Another way was through adoption. One day near my second birthday, the orphanage was visited by a group of Americans representing various special interest groups and missionaries. I was not adopted. I did see other kids come and go, never to return. The time between my mom's visits became increasingly longer. I did not know until much later that she had contracted polio which made walking that long trek extremely difficult for her. One of the visitors to the orphanage was a young officer in the United States Air Force. He came back a year later. He had promised to get a special gift for his wife. She wanted a baby, and he wanted to do his part to help the world. They went looking from room to room, crib to crib. He said that he felt a stillness come over him when he saw me. He felt a sense of peace, and at that moment he stopped looking. He said I was the smallest thing in there and also the quietest, and that also made them think that I was much younger than what I really was. They already had a boy and a girl, and they wanted a little sister for their little girl to play with. The missionary worked with the doctors to get a government pass to allow them to take the young officer up to a village in the restricted zone. He wanted to talk to my parents about allowing him and his wife to adopt me. My dad was dead set against it. He did not want to let me go. My mom argued that while she and my dad loved me very much, because I was their only girl, they should love me even more, and that was reason enough to give me a better chance for life. They were told that the American family was very wealthy and could afford to give me the things that they wouldn't be able to provide. The American family wanted to make sure that my parents wouldn't ever try to take me back, so they had them sign over an agreement stating so. I'm told that my mom and dad were never really the same after that it looked as if someone had added years to their faces overnight, and the light had faded from them. I believe that I often feel their presence near me. I have lived a life that could only be possible through divine intervention. My chances of survival at birth were slim to none. My chances shortly after being exposed to TB and polio were also slim to none. Had I stayed in the Taiwanese orphanage, I would not have lived the life that I have. I would not be the sum of experiences that I am now. A warrior born of warriors. In my veins, the blood of a true warrior runs, carrying my spirit always back to my tribe. I was born on an island. The words echoing from the 4th Battalion courtyard walls, resounding in my heart and head. Paris Island, where I was born 20 years ago when I arrived to train as a United States Marine. Thank you.